wants to see it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, alhamdulillah, the fires have affected the air quality where we are, but we haven't been directly affected by any of that stuff. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank
Yeah,
Allah.
it's been easy on us. Alhamdulillah.
Because one of the ways of punishment of man is through fire. Men
Mm.
shouldn't punish other men with fire. But Allah
Mm-hmm.
subhanahu wa ta'ala punishes with fire.
Mm.
And so, whenever he sends those type of fires someplace,
Mm-hmm.
that means that he's displeased with those people in that area and he want to punish them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. MashaAllah, may
So,
Allah protect us, keep us far from the fire.
yeah, so man should not punish each other with fire. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he punishes man with fire.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Sheikh, Sidi Ishaq just sent a message saying we can go ahead and start whenever you and I are ready. I think he's on mute. So inshallah.
Whenever you want.
Okay. Sorry, Sheikh, let me do one thing really quickly, inshallah. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر العظيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذرياته والبيت كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم إني أسألك من كل خير سألك من محمد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأعوذ بك من كل شر استعاذك من محمد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم منا ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من فتنة المحيا والممات ومن فتنة القبر ومن فتنة مسير الرجال ومن عذاب النار وسوء المصير اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد رضي الله عن أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله الحمد لله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome everyone to our weekly Maliki Fiqh class with our teacher. Excuse me, Jamaat, my son got into something. I had to stop him. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone to our weekly Maliki Fiqh class with Shaykh Ameen Abdul Awal. Hosted by National Ilm America, brought to you by National Ilm America, which is a non-profit, charitable, humanitarian organization that supports Islamic knowledge as well as serving the community. We are an organization that works quite a bit with our teacher, Shaykh Ameen. He's one of the people that we take our cues from and our direction from. And he's been a big supporter of our work in so many different ways over the years. One of the real sort of guiding influences and mentors of us. And so in the era of this pandemic, we asked Shaykh Ameen if he would be willing to take his classes online. He's been teaching these classes for so long. He's been, as I always say, studying and teaching the Maliki Madhab longer than anybody in this part of the world that we know of since the late 1960s. And generally, the way that you go about taking this knowledge is you go to the teacher and you sit with the teacher and you take his information and you also take from what is called his have, his spiritual state. You learn character from him. He gets to see you and see how you behaving and how you learning this information and whatnot. But in this unprecedented era of this plague, really, we asked Shaykh Ameen if he would be willing to give classes online since people can't leave their house. And he thought about it, and alhamdulillah, we're very, very happy and thankful that he generously and graciously agreed to give these classes online. And alhamdulillah, we see that it's been very beneficial for all of us. And we're praying that, inshallah ta'ala, we continue to take advantage of it. And when Allah lifts this plague, I'm encouraging all of you who live in New York or are able to come visit the New York area to come and sit with Shaykh Ameen in person. Alhamdulillah, we've been, and I'll tell you, my name is Brother Habib Rasul Miller. I'm a student of Shaykh Ameen, who studied with him for a number of years in New York City, still studying with him. And, alhamdulillah, he's given me the permission and the direction to do some work. So alhamdulillah, that's who I am. But we have been going through, or Shaykh Ameen has been teaching us the information on tahara, on wudu, on najas, or things that are filthy, things that are unclean, things that affect our state of purity for prayer. And of course, as we had my big brother, Ustad Abdullah ibn Islam, another student of Shaykh Ameen, remind us last week that, of course, we learn all these things about physical purity so that we can apply it, so that inshallah, Allah ta'ala will transform our heart and help us to attain spiritual purity, internal purity as well. I'm not going to say a lot. I say many of the same things over and over again every week because I want you to internalize it, who we're learning from, what we're learning. Of course, this information that we're taking from Shaykh Ameen, he took from Dr. Suleiman Dunya, rahmatullahi alayhi, the renowned scholar of Fiqh and theology and Tasawwuf. And with Dr. Dunya, Shaykh Ameen studied lessons from the book Ashar Asariya, which is one of the authoritative texts on the Maliki Madhab. So as you can hear, my boys are in the background making noise, which means it's my cue to close my mouth and inshallah listen with you to the lesson that we have for this week from Shaykh Ameen. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذرياته وآل بيت كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. But so I want to thank Abdullah ibn Islam for taking my class last week and giving me an opportunity to rest some extra days. Because, when you're doing these classes, you have to make preparations for them. And in between that, you have people want to talk to you about different things. So any spare moment I get, alhamdulillah, from my students especially, is really great. I appreciate it. And Dr. Rasul, he didn't make it clear to you that I gave him Jazza some years ago, a few years ago, but he still comes to classes and, in spite of his Jazza. So obviously the Jazza is not exactly what he was coming for, which everybody's not like that. Many times the people, they come solely to get Ijazah so that, only Allah knows what they want it for. But obviously, that was not his purpose to just get the Jazza and wander off and go into his own world. So I also want to tell you, you know, I was looking in a book on sociology, and looking in this book on sociology, I found a subject called the crab effect. I said, a crab effect? What the heck is the crab effect? I majored in sociology. I graduated in a school of social science, but I had never heard that term outside of the talk of black people. So I read it. Sure enough, it is some type of syndrome that they associate with black people. And they call it the crab effect. It means that they no person, listen to me. Nothing is always 100%. So when you talk about people, you can't talk about everybody because there's gonna be exceptions to that rule. But like my teacher used to always say, but if the shoe fits, you should wear it. So in regards to that rule, they have some things that will destroy you and your people, among which is that crab effect. And it means that when some crab is trying to come out of the barrel, the other crabs keep pulling them back in. But they don't even know why. In nature, these crabs, this is an instinct that they have. But with African Americans, it's a learned behavior, which means that when they brought us here from the different countries in Africa, they instilled in us through all kinds of various tortures and oppressions, that we're worthless and that none of us deserve to climb out of that barrel. So to us, after some, generation, it became sort of normal for us not to think well of each other. And, unfortunately, this syndrome still exists till today. Now, why am I mentioning this? Because it's easy to realize if we don't correct that by intention, it's like you can't just ignore it and say, oh, it'll go away. No, it has to by intention be dismissed from us as a people. So if you find yourself saying to yourself, oh, who does that nigga think he is? Or some other African Americans, they're always in your way, trying to prevent you from going forward. They don't even know why many times. It is a learned behavior that we can trace it back to chattel slavery. Some people don't like to have these type of talks. They actually become offended. They don't look to see the validity of what's being said or what they're hearing. this is also a syndrome of the krabby effect, because you know nobody wants to hear what they don't want to hear, and they don't want to see anybody else be right from among their people that you know. So they try to ignore him. Well, that came into Islam with us in spite of you know us being Muslims today, and wanting to be on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. We want to do right, but we have some inert habits. What's funny is that Dr. Dunya was not African American, but he knew things about my people much better than I, much better. Like when he talked about music, he used to say, but the African American music is one of the worst things for them to put into their life. And then he told us, the good parts about it is like, if you with your wife, you want to be romantic and these type of things. But he emphasized the fact that, our people don't accept, rhythmatic music very well, and that it stays in our minds for long periods of time, which helps us not to be able to concentrate. So, he advised that when, your kids are coming up and, you want them to learn to be a hafiz or something like that, something that requires for their minds to be clear in their studies, don't let them be around music. So, in any case, we brought this type of thing into Islam with us, and it has to be corrected by niyyah, by intention. It's not going to accidentally happen. Allahu alam, Allah knows best, but we don't think it's going to happen. Just happen. I have sometimes people come at me just because I'm Sheikh Ameen. They don't think that I have the right to be like that. And the funny thing is that I try to carry myself with the distinction that Dr. Dunya trained me to do. He always used to say, you have to be an example for your people, an example for your people. So among which is, good etiquette, and not letting anybody put you down, not letting anybody put you down just because. If they have a sound evaluation, I do listen because maybe I can learn. Sometimes Hajj Daoud used to tell me some things, and I learned from those things something that I didn't think about or know about before. And I would listen, and then after I listened, I would go and build on the knowledge of that thing by investigation. You know, and then my brother Ajib Abdul Salam, whenever it's because of him that I took this to do this lessons. He asked me to do these lessons, and he convinced me in his convincing way. No, come on, Jake. This is you want to do this. I'm like, oh, okay. In any case, I listen to people, but I'm not gonna listen to nonsense. See? So if you come to me with nonsense, I'm abrupt in telling you, beat it. I don't want to hear your nonsense. So what I'm saying that the way we look at things is through our own vision. Through our own vision. The vision of most people is that they don't want nobody to tell them nothing. No humility, no humbleness. See? No humility, no humbleness. And this is also a product of the crab syndrome. So we have so much work to do as a people. The reason we don't see it is because the shaitan, a'udhu billahi, he's like light years ahead of us in these things. He realizes that we need substitutes to take our minds off of these type of things. So what does he do? Especially if you're in a city living African American, he makes it seem like so many things from your ghetto is important that they take the place of your Islam. So we get so involved and absorbed with these type of things. Our children get so involved and absorbed with these type of things that when you present Islam to them, they don't really want to hear that. See? It's not because there's anything wrong with the Islam. It's because they have so many other things that have been put in place in their environments that they would rather do until, inshallah, we learn that our environment is probably the biggest product for us towards good, sound Islam, which means we have to buy property, we have to change what's in our stores. We've been trained not to complain. See? So all of this type of stuff has effectively destroyed us as a people. Even the ones who look like they're doing great, driving nice cars and big homes, plenty of money, they can't hear the Islam. It's like they're walking around and they hear everything else, but the Islam can't come into their ears because they're deaf, dumb, and blind. Deaf, dumb, and blind has nothing to do with what kind of car you drive, what kind of house you live in, and what your bank account looks like. See? So, as administrators of this Islam, we try to put things in their proper place. You can't force people to become Muslim. You can't force people to change their thinking about that. The only thing you actually can do is organize a method to approach society as good Muslims trying to lead in the right direction, which is our task that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created for the Muslims, that we have to try and share this knowledge and information and help as much as we possibly can. See, but not haphazard. It should be an organized methodology. I'm going to give a lecture, or as I said in the beginning, I was talking to somebody at MIB in Harlem on Friday. One of the reasons is because I got people calling me up that live in Harlem, and they're saying, Shaykh, what's going on? The people in Harlem are like some of the worst people in the world right now. He said they're smoking drugs on the stoop out in public in the neighborhood. Like the people have no manners, no etiquette. It's like they forgot who they are, where they came from, and what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know. I'm going to do a khutbah, but I don't think me alone doing this khutbah is going to help. What we need to do is buy some property in places like that. And when you buy property in places like that, you let other Muslim people invest until they become the mainstay of the neighborhood. When they become the mainstay of the neighborhood, things are going to change, because no Muslim is going to stay in his house and peek out the window and see if somebody's sitting on his stoop smoking crack, or somebody's across the street, shooting dice publicly, or, that's not going to happen. True Muslims will maintain their area. It will be known as the safe zone, actually. No Muslims are going to allow people to just do anything they want to do in their area. So that's one of the things you do to start. The biggest thing is education. The people have to become more educated in actual things that represent what the Prophet ﷺ came here to impart to us. Our children have to know about that. Islamic manners is a necessity for our success. Many of us are just going by what we think it should be. But we have to know what is the message that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so we can implement that into our world. Okay, I've tried my best to give that information. I want to go to this class. So the people with the crab syndrome, right now, they're saying, who does he think he is? Who does he think he is? He's trying to tell us what we need to do. Believe me, 100%, I know this as a fact. See? Who is it? What is he talking about? Man, I'm not listening to that. This is why we can't succeed. Because as soon as somebody starts talking about something progressive for the people of today, they turn to another channel. See, the crabs turn to another channel. So if you're not saying what they want to hear, they won't hear you. They'll turn to the channel that they like what the person is saying. Doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. Let me explain even just 1 minute. 1 minute. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the people will not go into paradise until a camel goes through the head of a needle. So the Sahaba said, what? He said, yeah, these are the people with pride. The people of pride will not go to paradise. People of pride will not go to paradise until the camel goes through the eye of a needle. So Sahaba said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, we like beautiful looking shoes, clean and shiny, and we like nice garments. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave a little laugh and he said, well, this is not what they mean by pride. Pride, in fact, is disdaining the truth knowingly. Disdaining the truth knowingly. So the Sahaba, they thought about it, and they realized people of pride cannot be true Muslims, because true Muslims hear and obey. Whether they like it or don't like it plays no part in it. See, so right now we are surrounded by many people in our environments who are claiming to be Muslims but are not ready to be Muslims, because when they don't like what you have to say, whether it's true or not, they'll turn the channel. This is why they're not getting proper education, because they're running from this place. They like what that one sounds like. Then they run to the next place. They like, well, I don't particularly like that one. Let me try this one over here. Then they run over there. So they never spend enough time learning properly. And then they formulate their own idea of what is Islam. I hope you understand it, man. That's, anyway. Allahumma salli wa salam mubarakallah Sayyidina Muhammad. At this point, my teacher used to say, Salam Nabi. It means pray for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the people used to say, Allahumma salli wa salam mubarakallah Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa salama tasliman kathira. Okay. And this is called Al-Masa al-Jabir. It means the wiping over the splint when making ablution. The wiping over the splint when making ablution. Al-Masa al-Jabir. It says, what if you have an illness in your hand, which if you were to put it in water or put water on it, as in making ablution, the illness would become worse, or the water would be bad for your hand. And they're talking about the hand only as an example. But in fact, it could be on other parts of your body that will be, used doing wudu. Other parts of your body. In any case, the fiqh says you should not wash it if washing is not good for your hand, but you should wipe over it when making ablution. I'm going to show you how to do that. Also, if you are not able to touch the sick hand with water because it is not good for the hand, and you have medicine on your hand with a cast, a splint, or a bandage, if it is also bad to wipe over the cast because this would not be good for the cast, you are allowed to put a pure cloth over the cast and wipe over this cloth with the water. This cloth is called isaba. Isaba. When they say it's called, they mean in the language of fiqh. It's called isaba. So, of course, many people will say, they will come up with other ideas that they will use. And a lot of times they don't realize why am I following this system? Well, totally to follow the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is what we're supposed to be doing in general in our life. The closer you stay to following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the bigger rewards for people, the bigger rewards. They have a saying, even if you don't have knowledge of something, and you try and figure it out without trying to learn what is the sunnah, that, even if you get it right, it will be rejected. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala don't like that method. So this is why, of all the things that men do on this earth, learning proper about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's method of doing something is the thing considered of the highest value. So the crabs can say whatever they want to say. Like Suleiman used to say that, Shaykh Dunya used to say that, right now it's just talk. When we go before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will be fact, proven. See? So, people can gamble if they like. That's why they call it gambling. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. But just like in our ibadah, they tell you how to solidify your ibadah is if you got two places, either I did or I didn't. You should take I didn't. Take the lesser, add to it, and make it more. This will safeguard your ibadah. If you didn't understand me, you can ask me in your chat, whatever you do, and then I'll try to answer that in a more exact way. Okay, anyway, Allahumma salli wa sallam mubarak ala Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa ashabihi wa sallam taslim kathira. So when you feel that if you use the water when washing your hand, your arm, your bad arm, your foot for ablution, that the illness will remain a longer time or that the pain will increase, then you can put a bandage on the bad area and wipe over it if you have to make ablution, and you wipe over the cloth and you take this cloth off. When you take the cloth off, your ablution is broken. When you take the cloth off, your ablution is broken. So, okay, let me talk about this for a minute. They have something called a tayammum. A tayammum is when you use sand, dust, dirt, clean dirt, and like that, to replace water because you can't use water at the time. And when you use it, when you make a tayammum, it can only be used for one thing, and then it's no longer applicable. So if you say I'm making zohar, and you directly before zohar you make a tayammum, as soon as you say assalamu alaikum rahmatullah or assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, that a tayammum purity is gone. You can't use it for nothing else. So they're telling you that for the person who wipes over the splint because they got a problem with water, the cloth that they use to put on in order to wipe over, not to make it worse, might not make the injury worse, or the thing that the injury is encased in, should be put on in a way that it doesn't come off. So we should know that if we don't put it on in that way and it comes off, we have lost the purity from it, and we are no longer in wudu when it comes off. Okay. Unless you have no one to help you, and you have no way of doing it yourself, if you have some way of somebody can help you, you can say, excuse me, can you attach this cloth over this like this? Clean, usually, and the cloth should be clean. You know, if you can just put this over here to protect it from the water, you know, and pin it on or tape it on or whatever way you can so it doesn't come off. This is the proper way to do it. Okay? So if in fact you're, wait, Ajib, are you there? It's not, do you see Ajib there?
Sheikh, I think he had some family stuff he had to do. I
No,
spoke
he's
to him
not there
earlier this
today.
morning.
He's not there today. That's what you're telling
Okay.
me. Okay. Yeah, that's what I need to know. Okay,
Yeah,
mashallah.
I don't see him here right now.
Mashallah. Okay, I'll call him in a little when I finish this class, inshallah.
No.
All right. So Habib.
Yeah, Sheikh.
I want to give people ability to ask me questions because I've said a lot in a little bit of time, and I need to have some idea of whether or not they're following what I'm talking about or not. They can
Yes,
talk.
Sheikh.
They can talk from any side they want, you know. But I need to hear their what they come back with, so I'll know whether or not I'm being effective. Okay, I'm gonna stop now for a minute, and then you can.
Okay. Okay, Sheikh. Muhammad, hold on. Okay, but you gotta wait till after class is finished.
No.
Go check. Go ask Ma. Go ask Ma. I love us.
What does he want? What does he want?
He wants some cake because we don't give him sweets, but because his birthday just passed, we let him have a little piece of cake.
So he wants some more of that.
Yeah, exactly.
MashaAllah. Okay.
Alhamdulillah. So everyone, please, Bismillah, please type your questions in the chat. So far, the first question that I see is from Brother Frank, and it's a clarifying question about what you just talked about Messiah Jabir. He said, so should we leave the cloth on throughout the prayer?
Yes, absolutely. Because if you take the cloth off, you're going to break wudu. If you break wudu, you have no prayer. You see? So yes, that you should put the cloth. Okay, in the lesson as I go forward, you're going to see where when the cloth comes off, they give you the ability. If you have the ability to quickly place it back on, you can keep your prayer. See, but it's a lot. This subject has rules that one thing balances the other. So yes, they have you have to keep the cloth on. If the cloth comes off that you put over to protect, yourself from the water, it breaks wudu. But if you put it back on quickly, they'll allow you to continue your prayer if it happens while you're in prayer. Okay, go forward. Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Sheikh. I'm sorry, I had it on mute. Someone asked, does the cloth have to be waterproof? And then someone else asked, will any clean cloth do?
No, it's not a matter of being waterproof. They got cloths that's waterproof that you can have access to. I don't know. But no, it doesn't have to be waterproof per se. What it has to do is protect the injury and the thing that the injury is encased in. That's what it has to do. And you're not going to use enough water for it to need to be waterproof. You're just going to wipe over lightly the cloth with a little water. You're not going to put it in the water, or you're not going to make ghusl with it. It's like, I don't know, man. Okay, So no, it doesn't have to be waterproof. As you like.
So Sheikh, any clean cloth will do.
Yeah, as long as it protects the injury.
Wow. Thank you, Sheikh. And did I want to make sure I heard properly? You said if the cloth falls off during the prayer, as long as you can put it back on quickly, you can keep the prayer?
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So I'm waiting for more people to type their questions.
It's okay. They can ask anything they like. But you see, the problem with this computer and doing an Islamic class is that you can't see the people and that you're working with for the most part. And so they could have got up and went to the kitchen and making a sandwich. See, it destroys it can destroy the process of learning. Because if you were sitting in my class and you get up and start moving around or doing something, and I can see that you just not listening, I'm gonna have a talk with you after the class and tell you, listen, you're taking up a space that somebody who wants to be in this class can use. Don't waste my time. And that's when the crabs will say, who does God think he is? Oh man, he's a teacher. He told me, yeah, brother, because somebody gotta tell you. Somebody gotta tell you. You may not like it, only intelligent people will say, I thought about what he was saying, and he's trying to save our life. But the crabs are gonna say, oh man, I'm tired of this guy. He think he know too much. He think he, this and that. Because it's the crab syndrome that he don't even realize. Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's not the sheikh. Maybe it's not the imam. Maybe it's not the teacher. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. So anytime you don't want to hear something in this day and time, you can change the channel. If somebody's saying something you want to hear. Okay, mashallah. As you like, Habib.
Nah, Sheikh.
Nobody?
Our brother. No. Our brother Abu Yassin has his hand raised. So I think he wants to ask a question himself, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Sidi Abu Yassin. You're on mute, Sidi.
Assalamu
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
The point of it has to be put back on quickly. What is the time period or time limit?
What is the what?
You're saying that if it falls off, it has to be put back on quickly, and you will still be able to
maintain your prayer.
Yes.
I'm sure that in the process of this class, they'll give you some kind of a limit to time. But as of right now, quickly means that it falls off, you pick it up and put it back on.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
There might be one.
Muhammad, Muhammad, what are you talking about, Muhammad?
Muhammad, come here. Come here.
You running around, Habib?
Say salam alaikum to Shaykh Ameen. Okay, I told you gotta wait for your mother, but say salam alaikum to Shaykh Ameen. If you don't be nice, you're not gonna get it at all.
I don't want to wait.
You don't want to wait.
I can't be patient.
You can't be patient this
time? Mashallah. Mashallah. Don't worry. He gonna learn. This is it. Yeah, don't worry. He said, I can't be patient. Grateful. He laughing. Oh, salam alaikum. That's Ibrahim. Salam alaikum, Ibrahim. Alhamdulillah. Oh, mashallah. You lucky to have them,
Shaykh Ameen laugh.
Yeah, children at that age are the best. They're the best. See, you can watch their character be shaped. Now, as
Mm.
they get older, well, you know, sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't.
No,
Yeah, but you help yourself by working with them when they're that age, especially once they can start to talk back to you, you know, and tell you
Yeah.
I feel like this or that, or yeah, mashallah. I miss having children for that reason, watching their development.
Mm.
Yeah. Haj Daoud, you okay, Haj?
Yes, Sheikh Ameen, I'm fine.
Because your name is in front of me on the screen. MashaAllah. Long as, you know, some people I feel are more of affinity to dealing with them because they've been around me a longer time. That's all it is. You know, a lot of you I don't know because you've never really reached out and, you know, made yourself known. But the ones that I know, like Yahya and Haj Daoud, you know, Frank, Abu Yasin, and my student Dr. Miller. I know you guys because you know you made yourself known that you know this is what you're about, trying to obtain this information, you know, and you're learning good adab, which is a major thing, a major. You'd be surprised how many people are hurting the feelings of other people because they just got terrible adab and won't listen. So they don't get it fixed because they don't listen. You know, if you don't like it, they don't like what somebody says, they turn the channel. See, mashallah. Okay, as you like, is there anything else?
Yeah, Sheikh. Well, before I ask the question, I want to mention some of the sisters have been very consistently reaching out to greet you as well and let you know they're present. They're not on camera, which inshallah is good.
It's smart. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. And I do know beyond any shadow of a doubt that the sisters are probably my greatest supporters. The sisters are probably my greatest supporters. You see, because they are more practical in their thinking. They will say, well, what can we do to help the Shaykh? And then they have a way that even if their husbands don't like it, they'll manipulate their husbands to do the right thing, to help. See, if you leave it to the brothers, they'll say some, mashallah, I'll make a dua. That's it. That's their idea of help. I mean, you know, we know dua is good, but you know, right here and right now, you know, we need physical stuff. The dua may or may not present itself, but if you have the way of helping, you know, but the sisters, I told you before, anytime you got a project and you want your project to succeed, you better have women involved. Because if you don't have women involved, it ain't moving. I don't care how much the brothers think they got it all going, and they don't. I'm telling you, historically, it's women that get things moving. See? You mean I want to hit? Did they turn the channel already? Oh, okay. The truth is the truth, see? Remember, Prophet Islam say a man will not go into paradise. A prideful person will not go into paradise until the camel goes through the eye of a needle. So, you know, truth is the truth. You know, you can't make it what you want it to be and say, this is the truth. It's my truth. That's it. No, it's not like that. Research, examination, facts. See, women are some of the best helpers for any project that you're trying to establish. This class that I'm doing here was a project that in 1971 started with the sisters asking Dr. Dunya, can you please teach us a class? And when he said, yes, I'll teach you a class, but he has to sit in here, he's talking to me, he has to sit in here because I want him to hear how I deal with women. You know, they said, oh, okay, just teach us the class. That's all we cared about. So I got a chance to sit and observe Dr. Dunya working with women. And he used to tell me many times, their value is beyond our understanding. See? And how they know how to get the man to do stuff through their, what he called it, their womanly ways. They know how to get the man to do stuff that no matter, you could put a gun to his head, so you better do it. And he look at you and go, I ain't doing that. You just do what you gotta do. But the woman know how to get to him in a way that he'll do it. And she get to him in a way that he'll do it, and he'll think he's doing it because that's what he want to do. You don't really understand, I'm sure. Anyway, is something else I need to deal with right now?
Yes, Sheikh. I had a question that actually came up in our class on Thursday about the cat food. So this is actually one of the brothers that have a cat, and the food they buy for the cat sometimes has things in it, has like horse meat in it. So he was asking, we know horse is one of the things that's not lawful for us to use for anything, but is it okay to give it to your pet, to your cat?
The answer to your question is, if you can avoid by any means giving your cat something that is called unlawful food for you, don't give it to the cat. Give the cat some other food that doesn't contain the unlawful. Why? Because what comes from the bowels and the mouth, the urine of an animal that eats unlawful is unlawful for you. So when you cleaning it up and stuff like that, you're putting your hands in what is unlawful. See? So you don't want, if you can avoid your animal eating unlawful food, something that contains unlawful food, that's what you want to do, because then you're sure, oh, well, my animal eats halal. See? My animal eats clean, natural food that I don't have to worry about, his bowel movement, his urine, and like that, even still, you're going to get the smell, but what he eats makes what he defecates or what he urines as still being considered as pure and useful. See, I just taught that lesson. This is why I like to have people sit in front of me, because when they sit in front of me and ask the question, I can look at them and go, "Oh, didn't we just talk about that last week?" See, and they won't have no excuse because they know they were sitting there with me last week, and that's what I talked about. In any case, okay. Anything else?
Yes, and I want the brother to hear me let you know this too, Sheikh. He made the connection. He said, wouldn't it be that I shouldn't give the animal this food because it would be impure? And I said,
so
I think so, but let me
he already had
check
an answer. He already had the
yeah.
answer. Yeah, sure. He's right.
And Sheikh, we have
look, it's a reason that I have this type of personality, right? Don't misunderstand. I'm really a congenial guy. I like to laugh and have fun with people to a certain extent, but you have never really been in the presence of extremely knowledgeable ulama. Their behavior is generally always the same because they are the representatives of knowledge, of Islamic knowledge, which means that they have to keep a certain type of demeanor. You know, you know, they have to have a demeanor that tells people he ain't having that. You know, you wait, don't waste his time with that. You know, or you know, that's a part of my job is to maintain a certain type of dignity, so that the next person who comes and takes my place, they will also have a certain type of dignity as a representative of this knowledge. So it's not like I'm just, you know, being, you know, a mean guy or something, but, you know, I have to be a no nonsense person. If sometimes I would, you know, it's hard on me being this type of guy, but you know, somebody has to be the representative for Islam. Even you know, the only person that I never that never sees that type of personality out of me was my mom. You know, when I go in front of my mom, I put my head down like that, and whatever I be listening, whatever my mom likes, that's what I'm gonna try to do. Whatever my mom don't like, I'm gonna try to keep it away from her. You know, but you know, other people, I don't really think of them like that. Like, you know, think of the Islam. What does Islam say I should do in this case? And I approach it like that. If they don't like it, I don't care. It's like, you know, I'm doing my duty to you, but trying to do what Islam says. Give you that example, and hopefully you'll take that home with you, and it'll go on and on and on. My mom is an exception, which, you know, I'm trained to like never make a problem for my mom in any kind of way, even if it means, you know, if I go, Ma, no, Ma, you can't do that, bruh. That's wrong. See, I had one of my students call me from Dubai, and he said in the messaging that his mom, who's in the hospital, is very sick, but in the process, she took Shahada. And I always used to tell him when he first came around, you know, because he always was interested, my mom taking Shahada, my mom taking Shahada. I said, well, you know, if your mom is going to take Shahada, she's going to do it because of you, because of your behavior, because of what you're talking about, what you show in your life. So it just hit him maybe 7, 8 years later that exactly what I was saying. He said, you know, my mom said that since I became a Muslim, I became a better son. I said, well, yeah, I told you. Your mom don't read the Quran or Hadith or none of that, but she know you. So the way you behave is good. It tells her how much you've changed through your practice of Islam, and what kind of person you are now is due to your practice of Islam. Because believe me, your parents know. They say, hey, wait a minute. That's phony. I know Junior. Junior don't act like that. And, you know, they have a way of seeing you clearer than you see yourself. So you can't fool them. But when you come over out of nowhere and say, hey, Mom, I went to the halal meat market, I bought you some chickens, you know, your mom gonna look at you and say, oh, thank you, son. But in her mind, she's like, he never did that before. Oh my goodness. Maybe he honestly believes in something this time. See? And then as time goes on and she see you not wavering, not going back to the street, your mom's gonna say, hey, this stuff is okay. So that's what she sees. It's not the it's not like the talk of La ilaha illallah, but she sees your behavior, and your behavior is what gets her interested to find out, well, what is this thing that he's doing that is changing his character like that? She may not even be able to phrase it like that, but that's what it means. As you like, Habib.
No, I'm Shaykh. No, I'm Shaykh. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you for that. That was for me. I don't know if you know it or not, but that was for me. Alhamdulillah. What you were saying about the reminder about being good to our mothers. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khair. Um, uh, Two things. One, Ustad Abdullah has his hand up, so I want to let him ask his question. But before I do that, I want to call everybody's attention to the fact that I placed in the chat the Cash App for people to make contributions. As I've said in the past, we've started collecting money to support the work of Shaykh Ameen. It's not anything mandatory. We're not charging for the class. We're just inviting people to participate in this because it's something that some of us are already doing. And before, when I mentioned this, alhamdulillah, people gave, and Shaykh Ameen mentioned that, really he it's not for him. He is helping other people giving,
Your
people
voice
coming
is
to him.
down so low we can't hear you.
SubhanAllah, I'm not sure why. Is this a little bit better? Still
I don't
low,
know.
Shaykh?
Maybe you touched something. We really can't hear you.
That's strange.
Ishaq, can you hear him?
Yes, Sheikh, I can hear him.
How's it now, Shaykh?
Maybe
Is it
it's on
better?
my end because I can't hear Ishaq either.
City Ishaq, you can hear me, you said, right?
I don't know. It just all of a sudden went out.
Yeah, I can hear you, Habib.
Well, Shaykh, I think
Anyway,
that's
do
on
what
your
you
end,
do.
Shaykh. So what I was saying is that, before, when I mentioned that we were collecting money, some of us were giving money as a gift to Shaykh Ameen, maybe it's better he can't hear me because Shaykh Ameen came in and said, this really is, he's giving to other people. And we know, I've seen it with my own experience. People come to Shaykh Ameen for help and support, especially in this pandemic. People are coming to him. But my advice to everyone, even though Shaykh Ameen is going to do that, he's going to turn around and give it to other people. My advice is that
Okay.
you do it. Yes, Shaykh.
Dr. Rasul, can you hear me?
Yes, Shaykh.
Okay, I can't hear anything on this end, so I'm going to ask you to make the door, and I'm going to stop the class here.
Okay, Shaykh.
Okay, you can make the door when you finish what you're doing, but for some reason I lost the audio.
I'm sorry, Ustad Abdullah, that we didn't get a chance to get to your question, but inshallah we'll get to it next week. But maybe this is better that this is a private conversation between students.
Okay, inshallah, I'm finished now. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Shaykh Ameen. Alhamdulillah. So maybe this is better that we have this as a conversation between students anyway. But what I wanted to say is that my advice to you is that when you give with the intention that you give it as a gift. And when you give something as a gift, you don't have any expectation about what the teacher's gonna do, about what the receiver of that gift is gonna do. Sidi Ishaq, do you think I should? Okay, alhamdulillah. When you give something as a gift, you do it without any expectation about what the teacher's gonna do. And after the last time I made this announcement, me and Sidi Ajib had a conversation, and we were both saying that we both were feeling like, as Shaykh Ameen was saying, that we wanted to jump in and say something. Because, what we've learned, especially those of us who traveled to different places in the Muslim world, is that the students, they have the mindset that they want to take care of the teacher, they want to support the teacher, and, they don't have no problem giving. And this gives the teachers a degree of independence, where they don't have to depend on the government, they don't have to depend on the mosque might be corrupt, And so similarly, we want to be able to consistently give support to Shaykh Ameen so he can have that level of independence. He always says, he doesn't really like to take gifts, he'll take it to give to other people, but we're kind of like pressing him like, no, Shaykh, you should feel free to take any gift we give you to do whatever you need to do, right? Whether it's giving to other people or supporting yourself, whatever it is. So my humble advice to everyone is give with that intention, give with the intention that it's a gift. And like we said before, it's not anything mandatory. It's not anything where you have to give a particular amount. So if it's difficult for you, then that's okay. You make the dua. But I'm encouraging everyone, if you're able to give, alhamdulillah, a number of you have already been giving. May Allah reward you, but for those who haven't and can, my encouragement, this is encouragement. We're not monitoring and saying, well, this person didn't give. It's nothing like that. But my advice is, if you're able to give, then give something, and give with that intention that this is a gift, without any stipulation on what the Shaykh is going to do with the money. And that makes me feel better saying to Shaykh, which we always say, Shaykh, this is for you. You don't have to feel like has to be just for feeding the homeless or anything like that. We want you to be able to be independent, and we want to give you that level of support as your students. So I put the information down in the chat. If anybody is not able to give via Cash App, let me know. There's a PayPal you can give to as well. I don't have it offhand. I should have made the preparation to make sure that I have it. But inshallah, next week I'll have it, and I'll post the PayPal as well. But inshallah, if anybody wants to give and you need a different way to give, don't hesitate to contact me, to reach out to me, and we'll make sure we find a way for you to give. Alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khair. That's all I have for today. And like I said, Ustad Abdullah, I'm sorry that I didn't get to ask you a question before Shaykh Ameen's sound cut out, but inshallah we'll I know you have access to Shaykh Ameen, but I hope you'll ask the question next week so that we all can benefit from it, inshallah ta'ala. And I see we have one more question or comment. Do we have Jazza, inshallah, saying the Shaykh? Oh, no. Alhamdulillah. I'm sorry, I didn't see it till just now, but see the yes. Go make the Maghrib, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And we'll go ahead and make the dua to close out now, inshallah, unless anybody has any pressing questions or comments. Okay, inshallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-rahmanir rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. اللهم أرنا حقا حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا باطلا باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من الهم والحزن ونعوذ بك من العجز والكسل ونعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل ونعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراط المستقيم ولا إله غير قدر العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم جماعة. Inshallah, we see you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum. You see Uncle Hassan? Say assalamu alaikum first. Wave Uncle Hassan.